You hear us, Christina?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Video. Yeah.
You're doing it. You're doing
There we go. Here's your sound.
Okay, we can see you.
No, we can't hear that. We just gotta turn up the volume. That's it.
Speakers are coming from the TV and not the
Yeah.
Can you hear us now, Christina?
I can hear you.
All right, sorry about the delay. This time I'll go ahead and open up the common council meeting in the city of Bellevue, Idaho for Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. It is 5:35 p.m. If you're on a Zoom call, please mute yourself. Raise your hand if you have any questions or want to comment. People in the office here or in the city hall chambers, please turn off or mute your cell phones except for our emergency personnel. A roll call, please.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
President Giordani,
Yes.
Member Carrero,
Yes.
Member Leahy,
Yes.
Member Mahoney,
Yep.
Member Obanoff,
Yes.
Member Shea.
Present.
Okay, thank you. Item 1, notice of agenda compliance for Idaho Code 74204. Finding that the regular meeting notice and agenda were posted in accordance with Idaho Code 74204 within 48 hours prior to the meeting date at the city of Bellevue City Hall, the post office, and on the city's website on November 7th, 2024. It's 2024.
I move that the notice for the November 12th, 2024 regular meeting was completed in accordance with Idaho Codes, Section 74-204.
Second. Oh.
Thank you. So we got it. All
And a vote.
in favor?
Yes.
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 It's call for let's see, do you want to add the agenda item now? So we didn't get on the agenda, but we'll add it. It'll be the item number 3. We'll replace item number 3. Just updates from mayor and council members. Is there a motion and a second to add that to the agenda?
I would move to amend the agenda to add an item for mayor and council updates.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, call for conflict is outlined in 74-404. Any conflicts tonight with agenda items?
No.
All right. All right, so mayor and council, comments. We were making progress on our iCurrent complaint. We got our first, what would you call it? Payment for our wastewater treatment plant. It matches up pretty good with the new updated invoice for electrical repair services. So we're starting to make some movement there. I'll be working with Bryson, the team, and our engineers, and start getting some of the electrical implemented and get that started. We've been getting, we continue to have Bellevue Works and Suzanne Reed post information on her blog personal site. And it allows you to make comments or do a reply chain mail. We received almost 30 comments for public comment on items that aren't even on this agenda tonight, or not even going to be discussed. Moving forward, I will notice that we have these public comments. They will be put into the agenda packets and into the meetings, but I'm not going to have Amy print them out for the individual council members. You'll receive them in your digital packets, but to conserve on the same comment 28 times that's being replicated, instead of individuals taking their time to do the appropriate research and writing their own emails to us, which we would love to see. Those are just going to be put into the minutes and save some paper, some time, and staff cost of the city, basically. We appreciate people taking the time to do the diligence to review our packets, review what we are bringing forward. It's just burdensome that we're getting misinformation put out there and then seeing the same comments that aren't even relevant to our conversations. So I encourage people to make your comments. We do review them, we do read them, we do want to have your input, but so moving forward, these chain letters and chain mails will basically be disregarded by myself, but just added to the packets since they are comments. Anybody else have any updates?
Yes, so the Christmas tree lighting, Kristen from the library is organizing all of that, but she needs help. It will be on Wednesday, December 4th from 5:30 to 7:30. I have a list of items that we need, either volunteers for helping with the event, a bake sale, and or helping with donations for a Christmas dinner. And then other people helping with being a volunteer for their cashier and helping with the raffles, but I'll have a list for everybody to see what they can participate with, and then just send it to Kristen. And we're meeting next Wednesday at the library at 5:30 to discuss the event, and if you can participate, or if there's one of these items, just. Thanks. Awesome.
Any other comments? All right. Moving on, public comment for items of concern not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments tonight? All right, seeing none, at this time I'll go ahead and close public comment for items of concern not on the agenda. Item 4, consent agenda, approval of claims and approval of minutes. Any questions on the claims of the minutes?
I noticed that we're still paying Great West Engineering, or that we still contracting through them?
They are our wastewater engineers.
Okay. That's what it is there. Thank you.
And, you know, we still, I think, had some outstanding invoices from some of the planning, but,
Okay. Thank you.
Looked like there were some, relatively significant, irrigation repairs at, Donald Park. Something happened over there?
I can address the Clearwater charges. They changed the way they did their contracts this last year. And so when we paid for our initial services, there are additional services that are supposed to be okayed before they do. And that apparently did not get through to the powers that be. And they did repairs without actually consulting with city staff on what needed to be done. So we got in a situation where additional stuff, it needed to be done, was done. But we have since corrected the procedures with them so that hopefully this will not happen in the future. We tried to get them to negotiate on that. They did very little, but they did some. We do have a good relationship with them. We don't want to jeopardize that. So I had asked Marcy to put all that through so that we could get it taken care of and done. It's been hanging out for months.
Thank you.
Mhm.
any other questions on the claims or the minutes? No.
I thought those minutes were fabulous.
I would accept the motion.
Go ahead,
I move to approve the consent agenda.
second.
President Giordani,
Yes.
Member Carrero,
Yes.
Member Leahy,
Yes.
Member Obama.
Yes.
Member Mahoney.
Yeah.
Member Shea.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, item number 5, public hearing to consider the preliminary plat and subdivision application submitted by Mark Phillips on behalf of Sydney Hammer of KMAM Real Estate, IDDEL LLC, to subdivide a lot located on block 1, block 1 in the business zone and 2 lots. Okay, this is for dividing a lot line. Ryan?
All right, thank you, man. So I prepared a small presentation on this. There have been a lot of applications that have been in front of you guys and city council and the planning and zoning commission over the past 3 or so years. So I just wanted to run through all those and make sure there was an understanding of what's in front of you guys tonight. There was the KMAM preliminary plat that went to the city council in July of 2022. It got an extension of time and was assigned on October 4th of 2024. Then there was a rezone for the far westerly portion of the site, which was zoned transitional, whereas the rest of the site was zoned business. Now, the entire site for the KMAM plat area is zoned B business. Then the next one was a conditional use permit and design review application for a auto dealership just to the south of this. I just want to be clear, the car dealership is not a portion of the Malone subdivision in front of you guys tonight. It is just to the south. There is a portion, there's a shared access easement between the two, but it is not a portion of this property. Then there was a lot line adjustment to move the lots around a little bit, between this property and the auto dealership, which went through the plant or the city council on May of 2024. Then the most recent one, was a design review application for a gas station and convenience store, both of which are permitted uses pursuant to Bellevue City Code 10-7-2. That was approved at the Planning and Zoning Commission level, on October 7th of this year. Now we have a preliminary plat to subdivide the area, to the north of the Carl Malone car dealership, tonight. So nothing involving the application in front of you tonight is going to involve the uses or the design, architecture, any of that that has already been entitled and is to some extent already under construction. It is simply dividing one parcel into two parcels. So with that, they submitted an application on May 22nd of the year. It was noticed the political subdivision and placing for a public hearing on in June of 2024. Planning and zoning conducted a public hearing on August 5th, at which point they recommended approval to the city council. The findings fact reflecting this was approved signed on October 7th, 2024. And then brings us to tonight, which was noticed in the newspaper on October 23rd and noticed property owners and on site and at various locations, City Hall and Post Office on October 17th. So to grant approval of a preliminary plat, they have to be in compliance with Title 11, specifically sections 6, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16 of Chapter 4. The criteria for gaining compliance and how they have done that have been described in the staff report that is included in the meeting packet tonight. And then just some minor comments and things that they need to fix that are included in their conditions of approval. On the approved design review application and material included in that, there is a portion of the site that includes like access, sidewalk from the northern end of the subject property to the front door of the store, basically. There's currently not a pedestrian access easement covering that area, so there's a condition of approval to include that. And then there are some off-site easements just to the north and south of the property that they need to clean up the line work and improvements remember for the specific language on that. So there's a condition of approval for that as well. Both are prior to submittal of the final plat application. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions from the council?
I don't have any questions, Mayor. I do have a disclosure. I had a conversation with David Hicks, who was my contact person several years ago, prior to my retirement, representative of the Malone Group. And I reached out to him as a neighbor in the Chanterelle subdivision and having extensive grade work done on that site over the course of the summer and fall. I know they were jamming on the project to get their grading done so they could pour footings. And they were exceeding the hours of construction and still warm in the summer. People had windows open and at 10 o'clock at night, the backup beepers were just getting to be a little bit too much. And so I reached out to David. He was the only contact that I had and complained as a neighbor. I made it very clear to him on the record, I was not acting as a city council person. And in no way, I believe this would prejudice any discussion or vote that I would have tonight regarding this preliminary plat.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Brian?
Can I ask a question?
Just a second. Council, any other questions? Okay, at this time, I'll go ahead and open up public comment for the preliminary plat subdivisions. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Holly Galinsky. I live at 411 Tangoy Street in Chantel subdivision. And my question is just, what is the purpose of subdividing the property that you're talking about?
I didn't hear that,
What
Holly,
is the
sorry.
purpose of subdividing it? Like, what is the goal, I guess?
Looks like they created two lots out of one that are now available for whatever the permitted uses are in the zone, right?
Mayor Johnson, I would recommend, including all the public hearing, Aaron Bliss is on Zoom on behalf of the applicant and can answer any questions, such as this.
Mr. Bliss, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, the point of the subdivision is to create two lots or two properties out of what currently exists as one property.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Anybody online? What's the name there?
Hi, it's Suzanne
Okay.
Reed.
Oh.
All right, name and address for record, please, Suzanne.
Suzanne Reed at 24 Muldoon Canyon. I wasn't sure that the question that was asked, and Mr. Bliss's response, the subdivision, it sounded like it lacked the detail that it was to be subdivided for the purpose of a gas station, and I thought maybe I missed that. And I thought that was pertinent to the question asked.
The question is, what is the purpose of separating a parcel into two? We're not discussing the uses for those parcels. It is through our codes and our zonings and our ordinances. It's a step that a landowner can take. If you have a large enough parcel, you can break it down into smaller parcels for whatever use that is authorized within that zoning area or that business district. So the actual end use right now is not the discussion. The end use, the discussion is, can a private property owner who has followed the steps to request a lot separate or lot division, have they met the criteria for that request? Any other questions? All right, thank you. At this time, I'll go ahead and close public comment. What do we need to do next, Brian?
The applicant should be able to rebut any comments that you would like.
Anything you'd like to say? Anything else, Aaron?
No,
As the applicant?
no.
Okay, thank you. And now do we,
And I would recommend,
Deliberate.
closing public hearing, moving into deliberation.
at this time, I close public hearing, public comment. So you have a suggested, recommendation to approve with conditions or deny, discussion, council?
Well, I don't think we need to go through item by item of the criteria for the preliminary plat. I do understand that the minimum lot size in the business district is for a 6,000 square foot lot. And obviously, this project exceeds that in that one lot will be 2.55 acres and one lot will be 2.88 acres, and the property is zoned business. That zoning is not going to change. And there are a list of permitted conditional and accessory uses in our city code book. And it appears that the business zone can accommodate the proposed uses on this project, on this property.
Any other comment?
I'm just gonna step in here, Mayor Johnson, and say, in reading through the application and having a discussion with our community development director, the application is within compliance, as Diane said, of our code ordinance and kind of the district it's within. The timing is not in our favor in the way that we're looking at, kind of the business district and potential changing adjustments to ordinances. So do I wish the order of operations might have been a little bit different of, you know, where we're at with amending some of those things? Yes, but at this time, I can't see any flaw in the application as it stands with the current ordinance and code and zoning. So that would just be my statement.
Concur, I mean, it seems like everything's in order, so.
No.
Okay.
All right, I would take a motion.
I will go ahead and move to approve the preliminary plat for KMAM Real Estate LLC, finding the application complies with the applicable criteria set forth in Title 11, subject to conditions 1 and 2 as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Member Ovinaugh? Yes. Member Leahy?
Yes.
President Giordani?
Yes.
Member Carrera?
Yes.
Member Mahoney?
Yes.
Member Shea?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to new business. Item 6 or new business, item A, consideration and adoption of city ordinance 24-03, an ordinance amending Bellevue City Code Title 3, Chapter 2, Sections 1 and 8 by adding a definition of resort city restaurant liquor license and establishing hours of sale for resort city restaurant liquor license. Brian or Christina? Who wants to kick this one off?
I'm happy to present on this one, Mayor Johnson. This is kind of the second level of, or the next level of the resort city restaurant liquor licenses. In a previous meeting, we had approved allowing up to 3 in the city of Bellevue. The ordinance that's in front of you is detailing the hours of restriction of service of liquor under this resort city liquor license. So this is in an effort to kind of just put sidebars on the service of this license. So it's not a legacy license. It's not acting as a legacy license. It's fitting within the confines of a restaurant liquor license. It's under all the jurisdiction of the ABC rules and the legislative rules that were already put in place in association with this license. And it's just the city of Bellevue adding service hours. So not being able to serve liquor before 4 p.m. or after 10 p.m. And a portion of the ordinance that also, if a drink is served at 10 p.m., making sure that it is consumed by no later than 10:30 p.m. and also acknowledging that if the kitchen closes at any time before 10 p.m., that service is supposed to end based on the legislation, and then basically that drink would have to be consumed within that end time of service. Our lawyer, Rick Allington, worked on this as well, so I'd say let's have a discussion, and Rick's in the room too to answer any questions.
Rick, what is Haley and Ketchum and Salmon doing?
I'll speak to, I know that Haley is 5 to 10 o'clock. Dregs, Idaho, which is kind of a similar, not quite exactly similar to Bellevue, but similar-ish, is 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. I haven't seen Ketchum's yet, to be honest with you, but those were kind of 2 of the benchmark towns that I saw in terms of their timing.
My only question is, I know like as of now, La Cabanita serves liquor during lunch? Were they part of this?
They have
conversation?
a legacy license.
Oh, interesting. So this is just a separate.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it,
These
okay,
are,
got it.
So does Mahoney's. So
again,
they
years
have a
and
different.
Mahoney's have a liquor license. No, fast money.
Okay, it's, yeah, sorry.
The resort.
I just
Got
want to
it,
remind you,
okay.
this is just liquor by the drink, it's not beer or wine, it's just hard alcohol.
Got it. So each one of these licenses depends on the business and which it's applied to. Right, but that's what I'm understanding. Washington
has to
State's
be a
different, like it was just a blanket across the board. It wasn't.
So state law, limits the number of liquor licenses by population served.
Okay,
And so right now, given our population size, Bellevue was allotted 2 regular liquor licenses. Legislation went through over the last 2 years, and the Resort Cities Coalition pushed forward to allow these resort restaurant liquor licenses to be authorized if the city council approved them, up to 3, and they limit the hours of operation. Their primary income has to be from food. The majority of their income has to be from food sales. And then the council has the ability to adjust the hours or put any side rails they want on it. We've gone over the few others that we have seen and put what we think is appropriate and fair to manage these instead of just having free reign, because like Academy is, Mahoney's are 2 that can serve from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock. These will be limited, and they have to produce the show that they'll be selling. 60% of their income has to come from food sales. So.
And I just want to reiterate for you, Councilwoman Obanoff, that this is also tied to the kitchen being open and closed. So ABC and the legislation is already regulating that if food service is not happening, liquor service cannot be happening. So this 4 to 10 p.m. is under the assumption of, typical restaurant kitchen hours. But if a restaurant, decides to close early one night at 8:30, they cannot serve liquor past when that kitchen closes. So this restaurant license, it has a lot more restaurant rules than a non-regulated legacy license. So what we're doing is just putting kind of our sidebars on it and saying, assuming the kitchen stays open, we don't really think a restaurant in Bellevue is serving past 10 o'clock. So we want to say 10 o'clock is the stop time. Because we could leave it open till 11 o'clock, but do we think a kitchen in a restaurant is serving till 11 o'clock? So it's kind of, that's part of the discussion too. Does 4 to 10 feel appropriate for our town, for the restaurants that might be serving through this? And then just to give a little more history on why this license came about is this is special to resort cities only, and Bellevue being a resort city and having different seasonal traffic that comes through is just allowing Bellevue to capture a little bit more of the tourism and even, members of different communities who might want to come down and enjoy our restaurants within our community. So it allows restaurants within our community to diversify their offerings and capture a little bit more of the tourist community, where someone might be able to have a martini with their steak or something like that. So it's complementary to the food sales. It is not a bar. It's based on a restaurant. So regulated by the kitchen. And so part of our discussion tonight is, does 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. feel, good for our community? Does anyone have any, want to discuss that further or have any other ideas on do these sideboards feel like enough? That's kind of all part of this discussion. Does ordinance work for the city of Bellevue?
I don't know any restaurant that's staying open and serving food till 10 would be my only comment, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And one thing,
As much as I
and
would.
here in the ordinance, are the times flip flopped. It's 10 p.m. to 4 p.m.
So they're not, and Rick can say, Rick, you can comment on that. Are they flipped or is that the way they were supposed to be written?
I think that's.
I think that prohibits it from 10 o'clock at night until
Until 4 p.m.
Yeah.
4 o'clock the next
Just the way
day.
it's
Doesn't say when you can serve, it says when you can't serve.
Okay.
Right.
And then, Robin, I just want to reply to your statement about the 10 o'clock. The one thing I had kind of heard from some other communities is since it stays so late in the summer,
Yeah.
thinking about summer service, because this is going to be, it's not seasonal. So in the winter, yes, but sometimes in the summer, our restaurants do extend their hours because the sun is out and isn't really setting till around 10 o'clock. So that was just the logic there, just to explain the logic of the 10 p.m.
Perfect.
Yeah, when I first read it, I was like, that doesn't sound right, but then it's, it
That's
makes
the way you
sense.
read it, yeah.
Got it.
I would make a suggestion to wait till Haley passes and
Haley
catch
has.
a pat.
I think they have.
They haven't, have they passed it?
Haley has passed it and already issued their first restaurant liquor license.
No,
Okay,
they're done.
okay.
Any other comments?
I would presume we can always modify this at a later date after we have a so-called trial period. I mean, not that this would be a trial period, but knowing that we can make adjustments, it seems very logical, so I like it.
I would, Robin, I would respond to that and say, I think that the intention here is to set sideboards, but not go too far one way or the other, see how it goes and know that we can amend this again. If we feel that there needs to be more sideboards or anything like that, just since it's kind of a pilot license program for all resort cities. I think the biggest concern on the legislative level was the hours of service and those sideboards. And then from there, if we see other cities or our city needing more reasons to create more sideboards, I think we can always bring this back.
So is everybody comfortable with the hours discussion?
Yeah.
And kind of how that's written? Mayor? Yes,
Mhm.
you ready?
Okay, well, I'll take a motion.
All right, I'll go ahead and move to adopt ordinance.
Well, we
Wait,
can't,
Oh, yeah, you're
we have
right.
to, sorry.
Go ahead.
so we need to, either read the ordinance 3 times or
Dispense.
dispense with the reading and read it once.
I would move to dispense the 3 readings of ordinance 2403
And read by title only.
and read by title only.
That takes a roll call vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Member Mahoney?
I'm gonna, I should have, done it earlier. I'm a conflict of interest.
Okay, sure, thank you.
President Giordani?
Yes.
Member Shea?
Yes.
Member Carrero?
Yes.
Member Leahy?
Yes.
Member Ovenoff?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll dispense with the 3 readings and read by title only. City of Bellevue, Idaho, ordinance number 24-03. An ordinance amending the Bellevue City Code, Title 30, Chapter 2, Sections 1 and 8, by adding definition of resort city restaurant liquor license and establishing hours of sale for resort city restaurant liquor license.
I would go ahead and move to approve ordinance number 2403.
Second.
President Giordani?
Yes.
Member Shea?
Yes.
Member Carrero?
Yes.
Member Ovenoff?
Yes.
Member Leahy?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
That's easy.
We good, Rick?
Yeah, Jim doesn't get to have his Bloody Marys on Sunday. Always room to.
Thank you.
Come on over, Jim.
Yes, all right, moving on to item B, consideration approval of resolution number 2395, a resolution of the city of Bellevue, Idaho, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for services with Blaine County for providing dispatch services to the city of Bellevue. It's an annual contract. There was a slight increase. I think it was like 3% over last year, but it's the best and only game in town that we.
What else do you do?
Smoke signals, I recommend we.
You have anything, Marshall?
Realistically, for the price that we get, we have an outstanding service that we get. I recommend we move forward.
Chief, you have anything? Yeah. Any questions?
Motion?
Motion.
And move to approve resolution number 2396, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for services with Lane County for providing dispatch services to city of.
2395 or 2396?
Oh,
Both numbers are in here. I think
Oh.
there's a typo.
oh, sorry. Okay, is it-
9-5.
Stick with 2395.
okay, moved.
Yeah.
I
that's
move
second
to
on that, gotcha.
approve resolution number 2395, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for services within Blaine County for providing dispatch services to the city of Bellevue.
Second.
Counselor.
Member Fay,
Yes.
member Carrero.
Yes.
Member Leahy,
Yes.
member Ovina. Yes. President Giordani.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to C, consideration approval of resolution 2396, or resolution of the city of Bellevue, Idaho, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Workman and Company for annual audit of city financials for fiscal year 24, and the amount not to exceed $10,470. Kelly, you have anything to add?
No, they've been doing yes, I guess, they've been doing our audit for, as many years back as our records go. So I'm hoping that we can continue on as they started today. So that's why I tried to get it on last agenda. but-
That's right, yeah. Perfect.
So we are having our audit, this week.
Okay. May I ask how much we paid last year?
It was about 8,700. That number there is the worst case scenario.
Okay,
It should be around the 8,700 number.
okay,
That is if they have additional work to do.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Shelley, this will be your second audit now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm presuming it gets easier, so.
I hope so.
Any additional questions? Take a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2396, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for services with Workman and Company for annual audit of city financials for fiscal year 24 in an amount not to exceed $10,470.
Second. Member Mahoney,
Yeah.
President Giordani,
Yes.
member Shea,
Yes.
member Leahy,
Yes.
member Carrero,
Yes.
member Ovina. Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item D, consideration approval of the resolution 2397, resolution of the city of Bellevue, Idaho, authorizing the treasurer to assign $33,300 to the sewer LGIP capital account with the Idaho State Treasurer's Office. Shelley?
I hope you all read my memo regarding this, but it has been a practice to put those monies that come in from, is this the LGIP?
Yes.
Yeah, those cap monies into savings for future capital needs. So interest has been really good. I'd like to get those sewer funds into the savings so that they can earn some interest.
Any questions?
I just wanted to kind of reiterate that I think it's super important when reading an agenda packet, especially when it comes to the financials and the treasurer reports and memos that, you know, cash flow is a snapshot in time, and that it's super important that just as a community, we digest the information correctly and wait to hear from our, you know, our staff within the city, and, you know, look at information in a non-accusatory fashion. You know, you're looking at some of the cap funds for 23 and 24. When this memo was written, when this report's put together, that's a snapshot in time, and where those financials are at just a few weeks later is a different story. So just to clear up any confusion, Shelley, I'd love to ask you about the 23, 24, just a little bit of that cap fund, and where we're at kind of with the cash flow situation on that for 24, kind of, you know, to,
Water.
yeah, with the water.
Okay, so at the time that I wrote the memo and, prepared the resolutions for the sewer, there was approximately $30,000 in the water checking account, which exceeds, or which is less than what the cap funds are. So when I wrote the memo, I wanted to be totally transparent and say that we did not have funds available to transfer into LGIP savings, those monies. Lo and behold, that weekend after I wrote the memo to be submitted for the agenda, I realized that water had been paying water bond expenses that will be reimbursed from our grant monies and loan monies. And those monies currently are almost $100,000. So like Christina said, cash flow changes on a daily basis. When we get those monies reimbursed for expenses that we've paid up front, then the cash situation for water will look a lot better.
So basically, our budget's still our budget. We've approved everything. We just sometimes, when the checks come in and the checks go out, don't always balance out. But we can look through our, what do you call it, the biweekly claims reports, and then the end of the year treasuries reports, and then our audit. It shows clearly where all our money is, where we spent, and so this is, you know, unfortunately, I know a lot of homes have to do this, where you know, you may put something on a credit card and then you get your bonus check and you're able to pay that off. This is similar fashion where we're just pulling from one pot of money to make sure our bills are covered, and then when that next pot of money comes in, we redistribute it. And the reason we're putting it into these savings account is to take advantage of the interest instead of just leaving it in our checking accounts. It's all in the minutes, it's all in the budget, it's all in the audit, so everything is accounted for. Shelley's doing a great job.
I will continue to revisit it if it looks like the situation has improved, that we can take those funds and then transfer them. I will certainly bring a resolution back to the council to approve. But at the moment in time, it's just not possible.
I just want to follow up and say, I think it's fiscally responsible to maintain liquidity, you know, in times of tighter cash flow. And I appreciate that about with you, Shelley, and that when it does make sense for us to then move things into savings, you're making very swift decisions to get gains on money at very favorable interest rates when it's appropriate, without putting our financials in a kind of risky situation in terms of liquidity. So I appreciate what you're doing and the thoughtfulness on how you're approaching it.
Thank you.
And I would also just like to add that I do appreciate the way that Shelley has handled some pretty tricky situations, and not a lot of pennies to go around. Municipal accounting is completely different than balancing mom and dad's checkbook.
It
Isn't that the truth?
A lot more moving parts.
Yeah.
All right, motion for item D.
Looks like there's two resolutions here. Am
Um,
I looking at the right?
we're doing it for the 2024, so it'll be resolution number 2398. Excuse me, 2397. A resolution authorizing the treasurer to assign 33,300 to the sewer LGPI capital account.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
You read it.
Roll call, please.
Member Mahoney,
Yeah.
President Giordani,
Yes.
Member Shea,
Yes.
Member Carrero,
Yes.
Member Leahy,
Yes.
Member Ovindar.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're, moving on, item E has been, scratched. We got the wrong text in there and we'll revisit that, next meeting. And so we've adjusted resolution 2399 to be resolution number 2398. A resolution in the city of Bellevue, Idaho, amending the monthly water user charges for a municipal water system. So this is basically the rate increase that we passed during the budget.
Yeah, when you establish the budget, we set it at this 4.99% increase in the rates. So I needed to get this authorized so we can get those rates going, because that's what we budgeted the income on. In doing so, I thought it was kind of interesting, the history, so I gave you a little printout of kind of the history of our rates, so. They have not changed a whole lot in the last 5 years, actually.
And part of that, we did have to take some ARPA, and there was some state funds that if we wanted those, we took them in lieu of raising rates. But as we've seen with inflation and the cost of salaries, the cost of parts, equipment, we need to continue to raise our rates so we can meet the current level of work that we're executing, so. Or levels of service, I would say. Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
I just have a statement on this, Mayor Johnson. This was already approved in the budget and this was a discussion we had, so happy to move forward on it this time, but I would like to have a discussion at another time about kind of just the general assessment of our fees and our overall cost to operate. I know it's balancing out in the budget, but kind of as we're looking at our fees all across the board, as we've discussed doing, just making sure that our water and sewer fees are kind of assessed on the level of if they're meeting our needs, if just kind of looking at increases yearly, if that's going to be a consistent thing, knowing that cost of labor and all those things are increasing, and just making sure everything balances out. So as we're diving into fees across the board, just making sure we're paying attention to water and sewer as well, which I know we will, but just kind of making sure everything's being assessed to make sure that our fees are in line with the needs, the financial needs. So I just look forward to diving more into the fee assessment, in particular with water and sewer.
Yeah, no, and as we move forward and as we go to Casell, we will be doing a rate study, reviewing where we're at with that. Currently, I looked today, Idaho Association of Idaho Cities website. They do have a summary of averages across the state of what water and wastewater rates are. They're done by, basically they send out a survey around the state and they get so many replies back. So not every municipality has replied to the survey. The last one they have, the most current one they have right now is from 2022. So it is on there. I printed out, I meant to bring the numbers, but our water rates are basically on the average. We're right there at that $30, $32 mark, whatever it is. That's what the average was on that report. our wastewater is a little higher, much higher, but there's also, you know, the city and previous councils passed a bond for a plant that may have not been exactly what this community needed. It was the direction they went with, and you know, we still have to pay that off, and we still have to do improvements and keep that plant as operation as we
Well,
can,
I
so.
think no offense, the plant was good. The operation was bad.
I mean, there are different things about that plant that are good and bad, but
Yeah.
it was the actual, you are 100%, it was the lack of proper maintenance and continued upgrades and keeping after it until it got out of hand.
Yeah.
So, but there's still bills to be paid off of that plant,
I
so.
meant the big plant.
So we're gonna still see higher sewer rates than anticipated, compared to the state average, but there's also a report out, and I can also bring this into discussion. When you look at the lifelines of the municipalities and their plants, the majority of them are exceeding 15 to 20 years in service. And at that time, we're starting to look at upgrades. I can go around the state. City of, where Preston, they've had some problems with their permitting, with their DEQ compliance. They could either continue to get fined and have to repair it, or they've gone ahead and went forward with developing a new plant. Original cost estimates on that was around, I wanna say $35 million. They're in excess of $75 million on that project. And, you know, Preston, I think, is a population of, I know they're under 5,000. There are several other cities around Idaho that are right up against that. Grace is another one that are looking to do some massive upgrades to their system, because if not, they're gonna be out of compliant, and then they'll start being fined, and then we'll have to pay the fines and pay to have the work done. So we wanna continue to keep our rates affordable best we can, but continue to be able to put money into our cap funds so we can get these projects and get the plant back online. Any other discussion? Okay, I would take a motion for resolution 2398.
I move to adopt resolution number 2398 to authorize a 4.99% increase in the base water rate to $36.80 for both metered and unmetered customers, and to increase the rate to $1.14 for 1,000 gallons of water usage over 6,500 gallons per month, effective December 1st, 2024.
Second,
President Giordani,
yes.
Member Evanoff,
Yeah.
Member Leahy,
Yes.
Member Ferrera,
Yes.
Member Shea,
Yes.
Member Mahoney.
Okay, final item, consideration approval of resolution 2399, a resolution of the city of Bellevue, Idaho, amending the monthly sewer charges for the municipal sewer system. I think we just had the same discussion. Anything else to add on the sewer side?
I just have a question on the overage on sewer. Is that metered also?
It's based on the water usage. It's the same
Oh,
figure
okay,
as
thank
water.
you.
It's- yeah.
Sorry. Okay. That makes sense.
I mean,
Just a different way.
Okay.
yeah, we use to get our units that we use, the availability and how much we can handle. We calculate it, and then we're gonna have other influencing factors into the wastewater system, because there are cracks, there are leaks, water does get into it, so, you know, depending on seasonality, there can be different flows from, and, you know, not all the water that gets used goes back into the wastewater system either, so, it's just it's the easiest way we can without having a meter, and I don't know how a wastewater meter would work. I mean, what we can mainly do,
Clearly, I don't work.
we can manage the influent flows that go into the plant, and then we also have our effluent, water that goes into the recharge basin or the rapid infiltration basin and then our land application. And we kind of balance those numbers and we know by how much water is coming into the plant, and what seasonality, how much is actually being used and how much we're treating per day. I accept the motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 2399 to authorize is a 4.99% increase on the base sewer rate to $93.75 for both metered and unmetered customers, and to increase the rate to 88 cents per 1,000 gallons of water usage over 6,500 gallons per month effective December 1st, 2024.
Second.
Member Mahoney,
Yes.
member Smith. Yes. Member Carrera.
Yes.
Member Ovina. Yes. Member Leahy. Yes. President Giordani.
Yes.
All right, thank you. At this time, I would accept the motion to enter executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206, 1F. Communicate with legal counsel for a public agency to discuss legal ramifications of and legal options for potential litigation or controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated. The mere presence of legal counsel at the executive session does not satisfy this requirement.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Can you hand that to Sean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a roll call vote?
Sure.
Can you hand that to Sean?
Is it a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Behind you. Sean, I don't know, hand it to Sean. Do I can still hear us? President Giordani?
Yes.
Yes.
You're saying? Yes. Carrera?
Yeah.
Ovina? Yes. Member Leahy? Yes.
We executive. 7:18, we exited executive session. A motion was made by member Shea and seconded by member Carrero to exit. At this time, we've reached item number 8. I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And,